well then it's probably you need to look at the but and see why they wouldn't purchase, and then maybe trying to convert those 2s into 3s, or otherwise look at another idea. Once you actually launch the product, you'll get those 1 of 4 responses. Either 4, a person purchases and is a complete raving fan, so that's the ideal you want, or you're gonna sell to a customer and they're just gonna buy, or they're gonna be not interested but they're not gonna purchase because of a certain reason, cost, or it's missing certain features. So you need to then take into account their feedback and say, well, can I change my product to turn those 2s into 3s? Or you're going to get reaction 1 where they're actually not interested and not going to purchase from you. So the idea of improving your business model is to improve these figures. So increase the numbers of 3s and 4 reactions you get when you speak to a customer or try to sell to a customer. So over the course of this program, what we're going to do is each week you're going to be talking to customers or selling to customers, and each week your idea is to turn 1 and 2 responses into 3 and 4 responses. So increase your conversion ratio when selling to customers. What's also important is once they purchase, will they keep buying again? So that's something we call customer loyalty. So you'll either get 1 of 4 responses. Either they're going to never purchase from you once they've bought from you once, or they will purchase again if you change something, or they will purchase again from you, or they absolutely love you and will definitely purchase again from you and only from you. So obviously what we want to do again is move them up the scale. The goal is to push them up from never purchase again to only purchase again from you. So easy to ask is you just need to ask what percentage of potential customers you try and market to or talk to actually buy the product. The higher that percentage, the better. And then what percentage of the customers who buy from you buy again? You need to actually measure that each time. The fourth question you need to ask when starting a business is, will it make money? So you need to look at what are the expected sales, what are the costs of actually making those sales and producing the goods, and then what is the profit? And the big question is, how happy are you with the expected profit the business will make? Ideally, what you want to be doing is starting a business where you're going to be extremely happy with the amount of money you make. If it's not going to make you enough money, maybe you should look at starting another type of business. The first question is, will it grow? Now, this is a very complicated question, which is actually going to be answered throughout the course. So we're going to give you some very brief outline, and then in each session we're going to go into much deeper detail to understand what would need to happen for a business to know if it will grow or not. The first thing is the value proposition or product. So you're going to get higher potential ones or lower potential ones. You've got to look at whether the importance of the problem solving, how quickly the customers are going to get their return on investment, the performance improvements. Are you significantly improving the performance compared to other products, or only small improvements? Are you adding significant value or limited value? Do you have a barriers to entry, so you're doing something that is so unique and other people can't easily copy it, so they're barred from actually getting into the industry? And is it unique? Are you the only one who can do it, or are there many people who can do that type of product? The next thing is your customer relationships. So that is how you acquire customers and retain customers. Better business ideas have a lower customer cost, and they have higher customer retention rates. Next, you need to look at the market size, or target market or customer segment. So here you want a big market, you want it to be a growing market, you want it to be an emerging industry as opposed to an old industry. You want to have excess capacity, so a lot of people wanting the product but not enough people making it, and you want to be able to attain a decent market share as opposed to a small market share. The next one is the revenue streams. Ideally, you want recurring customers as opposed to once-off. You want high profit levels with predictable revenue, so you know what your sales are going to be each month rather than varied sales. You want a number of different revenue streams coming into your business as opposed to one. And then you want to collect before you have to spend money rather than spend before you collect. Under channels, what you want is accessible channels, that where you have control the channels that are visible to your customers and can reach everyone you're trying to reach and are a good fit with your customer. With the key resources, you want a balanced team with different skill sets. You want an excellent track record or good industry knowledge. You want a team which is full of A players, real achievers, as opposed to B or C team players. You want difficult to replicate resources as opposed to easy to copy. And then you want a competitive advantage from your intellectual property as opposed to a limited advantage. The key activities: you want your business to be scalable, hard to copy, and highly efficient operations as opposed to the opposite. And then key partners: you want a well-developed network, you want to work with partners if need be, and you want win-win relationships with your partners. And then finally, the cost structure: you want low and fundable capital requirements, you want a low asset intensity to sales, and cost advantage over your competitors, and ideally your capital expenditures should be incremental. Now, a lot of this might seem like gibberish to you guys who haven't seen this course before, but by the end of the course you'll understand everything that we've just explained there, as we're going to go into deeper and deeper detail in each of the sessions. The sixth question that entrepreneurs asked is it based on fact? So what really is a business plan but a bunch of wild-ass guesses? So it's just a bunch of guesses on what you think will happen when you start your business. So the big thing is that if you try build your business plan on guesses, there's a high chance that this happens, something we call premature scaling. So what is premature scaling? It's where you have an idea but no facts, and then you start actually building your business. And what then happens for that is there's a high chance of failure because often the guesses are wrong. So in the case of Webvan, they were a famous internet startup which were funded to the tune of billions of dollars. What they did is they had an amazing business plan. They started their company and they just implemented, just did what their business plan said without checking if those guesses or assumptions of the business plan were correct. What ended up happening, it was a huge failure. After 3 years they went bankrupt because all their assumptions were actually wrong. Also, if you look at some of the research, they've done some recent research on internet startups which shows that over 70% of the reason internet startups fail is they try to grow without actually checking their guesses. They premature scale. Same thing with startups that do it properly. They tend to grow much, much faster. So in that same study, they found that entrepreneurs that really tested all their guesses first and then started to grow grew 20 times faster. So the big question is, have you tested your assumptions in the real world? And you have to then answer the questions, do you actually know all the facts around your business? Exactly how much money it will make, will the customer buy, how much it will cost to acquire those customers, who the customer is, how many potential customers there are, what is the pricing, what are the terms and costs of how you will deliver your product, what are the resources you require, how long, and what are the costs of your key activities, who your key partners are, and what the terms and conditions are, and then the cost of your business. So unless you know those facts, you do not know if the business idea is a good or bad idea. And then 7, are failure losses affordable? So this really answers to the question, if you fail, is it okay? So this is again from a super successful entrepreneur. He says, I'll start cheap, make sure I cover my costs, don't take huge risks. One thing I'm sure about my experience is never take any risks if you can help it. It is just the opposite of what most entrepreneurs think. Again, here's Richard Branson in an interview. This is what he said verbatim, a script of what he said. He spoke about when he started the airline, and when he set up the airline, what he did is said to Boeing that if it doesn't work, I want to be able to give the plane black after 12 months. Because then we're protecting the downside. It's going to be okay if we fail. And you've got to take that attitude with your business, is that if it doesn't work out, is it going to be okay? You don't want to start a business where if it doesn't work out, you're going to end up bankrupt or in trouble. So the question is, how affordable are your business's losses? Are they, I can't afford to lose anything I put into the business, or I can afford to lose everything I put into the business? And ideally, a great idea has 100% of that, where you're putting in enough time and effort, where you're 100% happy, where if you lose that, that's okay.